Good morning, Your Majesties. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel and happy Tuesday. Now, before I get into today's video, like I said in yesterday's video, I am going to be, starting next week, I'm going to be uploading 3 videos a week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This week, you guys are getting 7 videos, but starting next week, I'm going to be uploading 3 times a week. So this story is called, let's get into the story. Oh, look at my unicorn Grandma Majesty gave me. Isn't she cute? Or she's so cute. Okay. Her name's Lucky Charm, if anyone's curious. Okay, so this story is called The Candle in the Window. Okay. And it goes, in the quiet, fog-bound village of Ashbourne, where the moors stretched endlessly beneath a particularly gray sky, there was an old desolate manor perched at the very edge of the sprawling barren land. The manor had stood for centuries, its once grand walls now crumbling, its windows darkened by time and neglect except for one. In a single window on the upper floor, a candle burned every night, its flickering light visible from the village. The villagers spoke of the candle with a mixture of awe and fear, for it was said to be a beacon of lost souls, guiding them to the manor where they could find peace. But those who ventured to the manor often did not return, and the stories that came back were enough to keep most people away. Okay. But of course, someone's gonna fall for it, right? I mean, come on. Okay. Kevin had always been fascinated by the manor and mysterious candle. Honestly, I would too. But if it's gonna risk my life, I'm not gonna just do it. Like, I'm not gonna just, no. Anyway. So, okay, so Kevin had always been fascinated by the manor and the mysterious candle. An orphan boy who had grown up on the outskirts of Ashbourne, Kevin had no family to call his own, and the village had never truly felt like home. He often wandered the moors, finding solace in the solitude, and from a young age, he had been drawn to the flickering light in the distant manor. It was a strange comfort that lonely candle burning night after night in a house that was otherwise dark and abandoned. The other villagers warned him to stay away, telling tales of those who had been lured by the candle's light, only to disappear into the manor's shadowy depths. But Kevin couldn't shake the feeling that the candle was calling to him, that it was somehow meant for him. The thought gnawed at him, filling him with an insatiable curiosity. One cold, foggy night, when the village was quiet and the fog lay thick on the ground, Kevin decided he could wait no longer. He wrapped himself in his tattered coat, slipped out of the small room he called home, and began to long walk across the moors toward the manor. The path was treacherous. The fog was so dense that it seemed to swallow the world around him. But the candle's light flickered in the distance, guiding his steps. As he neared the manor, the fog seemed to thicken, the air growing colder with each step. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the distant sound of the wind howling through the moors. Kevin could feel an eerie presence watching him, a sensation that sent shivers down his spine. But he pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the candle. The manor loomed before him, its stone walls dark and foreboding, the windows staring out like empty eyes. But there in the upper window, the candle burned brightly, its flame unwavering despite the chill in the air. Kevin hesitated for a moment before pushing open the creaking front door and stepping inside. The interior of the manor was just desolate as he had imagined. The walls were bare, the floors covered in dust, and the air was thick with the smell of burning wax. See, it's kind of uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to hold the iPad like this. Anyway, the candle in the window cast long flickering shadows across the room, but the rest of the house was shrouded in darkness, the cold seeping into his bones. Kevin took a deep breath and began to explore the manor, his footsteps echoing off the walls. The silence was unnerving, the darkness pressing in on him from all sides as he moved from room to room. He began to see things, shadowy figures that seemed to filter in and out of the corners of his vision. At first, he thought it was just his imagination, tricks of the light and the fog playing on his mind. But as he ventured deeper into the manor, the figures became more distinct, more real. They were lost souls. The villagers had spoken of drawn to the candle's light, but now trapped within the manor's walls. Their faces were gaunt and pale, their eyes hollow and full of despair. They watched him silently, their forms barely more than wisps of smoke, as if they were barely clinging to existence. The sight of them filled Kevin with a deep sense of unease, but he couldn't turn back now. He had to find the source of the candle's light to understand what power it held. Okay. At last he found his way to the upper floor, where the candle burned his window. The room was small and sparsely furnished, dominated by a single table which the candle rested. The flame was unnaturally bright, casting an eerie glow over the room. But as Kevin approached, he felt a wave of dread wash over him. The candle was no beacon of hope. It was a trap. As the realization hit him, the shadows in the room seemed to close in, the lost souls pressing closer, their whispers growing louder. They were not at peace. They were prisoners, bound to the manor by the same light that had drawn them there. The candle's light flame was a lure, not lure, lure. A false promise that led him to their doom. And now it has ensnared him as well. Kevin felt a cold hand brush against his cheek, the touch of one of the lost souls, and he recoiled in horror. He had to get out to escape before it was too late. Desperate, he reached for the candle intending to snuff out the flame to break the spell that held the manor in its grip. But his fingers closed around the base of the candle. He felt a sneering pain shoot through his hand. The flame flared up bright and blinding, and Kevin screamed as the heat coursed through him. Oy. Burning not his flesh, but his very soul. Oh my gosh! The room seemed to spin, the shadows dancing around him, their whispers rising to a fever pitch. Oh my God, the candle burned him? Good Lord. Too late, the voices hissed, too late. Kevin tried to pull away to extinguish the flame, but the candle's light had taken hold of him. He could feel it pulling him in, binding to the manor, to the darkness that dwelled within. The shadows laughed as his vision blurred, the world fading away as the light consumed him. When the last wax melted away, the flame flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. But the candle's work was done. Kevin was gone, his soul bound to the manor, his body lost to the shadows. The next night, as the fog rolled in and the village settled into uneasy sleep, the candle in the window burned once more. Its light flickered in the distance, in a beacon for the lost of false hope. For those who wandered the moors in search of something more, and deep within the desolate manor, the shadows whispered of a new keeper for the candle boy, who had sought the truth and found only darkness. His fate was sealed by the light that had once called him. The villagers of Ashbourne continued to tell the story of the candle in the window, warning children to stay away from the manor at the edge of the manor. But the candle burned on, night after night, waiting for the next soul to be drawn to its light, to be consumed by the darkness that had claimed so many before. Okay. I have never read this story. That is creepy. What do you guys think? The part that got me the most when the candle burned him, that's just messed up. Okay, so let me know what you guys think of this story. That's going to be it for today's video. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Princess Peyton. Hit the red button to become your majesty, and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I love you guys so much. You guys are the best human beings ever made, and you're the king of my heart. And the song lyrics of Taylor Swift. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.